A cigarette smoke till it's in my head. Take the pain away. Let it burn, let it burn, let it burn. Let it burn, let it burn. Yeah, I'm broken. The door is closing. Wanna be a part of something more than this. I've lost control of it. Oh, seeing the stars reminds me of you. Oh, oh, oh. You left me with scars, but I know that one day you'll see it through. You'll see it through. You'll see it through. Hey. You'll see it through. You'll see it through. We're gonna live forever, forever. The afterlife. We're gonna live forever, forever. The afterlife. Talking to myself and I can't focus. Yeah, I'm broken. The door is closing. Wanna be a part of something more than this. I've lost control of it. Oh, seeing the stars reminds me of you. Oh, oh, oh. You left me with scars, but I know that one day you'll see it through. You see it through. You see it through. Hey. You see it through. You see it through. We're gonna live forever, forever. The afterlife. We're gonna live forever, forever. The afterlife. Can I be your star tonight? You fill my soul with light the day we
It's silly.
met.
I've never met anybody who's like, yeah, time zone, except like once a year when I was younger. It was great. Okay. Thanks, Cody. Like the time zone when we were younger, it was like, oh, we get an extra hour at night. But like that's the only time anybody's ever actually said the time zone is good. But
It's good for me because my time hasn't changed, but for everyone else it has. So now everything's happening an hour earlier, so I'm not finishing as late, which is
I
nice.
say we just keep it at this time.
Yeah, I mean, my opinion is maybe even more bizarre. I think there should just be one time zone, and it's just UTC, and it doesn't matter where you are in the world, everyone does UTC.
Same time.
Yeah, that make
All right, let's do it.
programming a lot easier.
Yeah, let's do it for programming.
Exactly.
Well, hello everybody. Shanti, you want to kick it off? Do your thing.
Yes. Welcome, everyone. We have a filled agenda today and a lot of items to discuss. So we can get it started. Chris.
Wonderful. Thank you for the warm welcome, Shanti. Amazing introduction. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. Everybody watching on YouTube, make sure you share, like, and subscribe. for you YouTube users out there. But we're here for another governance meeting. Love doing these transparently. Love seeing, giving the ability for the community to see what is discussed, what is decided on, and how those amazing tokens are distributed. So thank you all for being here. Thank you, the governance team, to devoting your time every single week to actually giving a damn. It's amazing. I really do appreciate it, and you really are one of the main reasons why Voy is doing so well. And of course, all of the people that are watching this, I'm sure that number is growing up every single week. So hello, thank you for watching this and providing your thoughts and feedback on this. So thank you. As always, want to actually kick off what Voy missions are and what the values are. Last week, the Dragon King did an amazing job. I was hoping that this could continue, but nobody volunteered to do it, so I will do it again. But just remember that, like, we're going to start like poking people in the side to start doing this, because I want to make sure that you all know how to actually to spread the message, how to actually talk about Voy and why we're doing this. And the only way that we can get better at this is by practicing. The dragon set a really high bar, but I believe all of you can do well as well. So I expect one of you to step up and be able to do this. It's really easy. So I'll even give you like kind of the outline things to actually hit. But anyway, why are we all here? Why are we actually really caring this much? What are we doing this for? And so in other words, what is the Voy mission? Now, we're doing this because we're not happy with the existing blockchains of the world. We're not saying that they're bad. We're just saying that they're not doing it in the way that we think blockchain should do it. Everybody has their own path, and we believe that the correct path is a blockchain that is owned and operated by the people that are actually putting in value. In other words, you guys, not the majority owned by the fat cats in the corporations and the VCs and everything. But the actual people that are here every day, putting in the blood, sweat, and tears, building amazing things. And that is what we believe that's a long and lasting and sustainable blockchain is. But to do that, it shouldn't have a figurehead. I think that there shouldn't be like somebody to point to and say, this is the person we follow. Because if you're truly doing this decentralized, you should actually really be guided by values. And so us as a Voy community, I include myself in that, we have 4 values. Wilder, do you want to name what those values are?
Yes. Goodwill. So making sure you assume people have the best intentions at heart. Integrity. So you're acting in the way that you think is best for the community. Collaboration. You're willing to work with others and participate in what others are doing. And intentionality. You're focusing on things that are important to the chain. You can be competitive. It's not to discourage competition, but what you should be building should have a purpose and a reason why you're building it that's strong.
Yeah, thank you, Wilder. It's super important to have these values and actually truly embody them and truly believe them and show up every day and ask yourself, am I following these values? It's actually really fun now. When people send me DMs and they don't like when one thing is happening, they always bring up one of the values. So I mean that means to me, like, people are listening, people are hearing what these values are, and it's making a difference. So keep on like really embodying these values. As always, I want to actually highlight a certain member of the community and reward them. I shoot them a 50K through a Discord for doing such a good job. But the value I want to actually highlight this week is goodwill. Like Wilder said, goodwill is assuming that the person that you're interacting with is doing their best, has the best intentions in mind, and isn't trying to screw people over or isn't trying to actually to make things worse, but maybe they're too busy. Maybe they didn't think of something, maybe one or the other reasons. And having goodwill allows you to be able to step in, give advice, be constructive with your actually feedback, or really be kind of make it easier to help. And the the member that actually really is embody this week is his name is Rob Sanders. So Rob, if you're out there, he actually, the funny thing is he recently changed his entire Discord profile to rob.voy, switched out his PFP to the voice. He like dove headfirst this weekend or this week. And before that, he was extremely helpful, but like I feel like he really stepped up his game, and why he actually embodied goodwill. So, very, very clear. Myself, I started the relay runners group to actually get the relay runners going and making sure everybody was doing what they needed to be able to have a very prospering network. And the truth is like over the last like 2, 3, 4 weeks, myself and other core team members have had other priorities, and we haven't given as much love to the relay nodes. Like we weren't running the stress tests. We weren't doing a lot of things. We weren't being attentive to the relay runners. And Rob saw this, like he and like other community members did as well. Like, so they not only they're like, oh, what's happening? And what Rob did is he assumed goodwill. He didn't think that we didn't care about relay runners. It's far from the truth. I think that relay runners are extremely important. He assumed that, we're busy. And because they assumed that, he offered to actually help. So he offered to step in and say, what can I do to make things better? So it really, not only did he do goodwill, but he did collaboration and intentionality all in the same fell swoop. But I only want to talk about one. But came in, is now going to be running the stress tests. He's writing a new relay guide. He's going to be doing the tracking the actual performance, doing all of these things, and is amazing for it. He's really taken a lot of load off of what the core team does, so that we don't, we weren't paying attention to it. Now we don't feel bad about it because we know it's in good hands. We're of course still going to be the one distributing the tokens, but him doing this work is like, I can't say how much that means to me, and I think it should mean to the entire community, because without good relay nodes, Void doesn't actually work. So when you see Rob out and about, thank him for that, and also ask, try to mimic what Rob does. If you see something that we're sucking at, it's not that we don't care, because let me tell you, we care so hard. It's just that there's so many things that need to be done to make a successful blockchain that it does require community members to step up and actually do things more than just point out where we're not stepping up. So thank you so much, Rob, for that. I'll send you your 50K via probably at some point during this meeting. I do actually want to touch on one more thing, Shanti, if you don't mind. Give me a little bit more time. Wild, is it okay as well? Because I received some critical feedback over the last couple of days from a member of the community. They informed me that the Voy testnet is the worst testnet they've ever seen. And I was like, wait a second. That doesn't feel accurate to me. And at first, like I was upset. I was like, I took offense to that because I think about it and I was like, how is this even possible? Like, I personally have been members of many testnets, and I look around at how active our community members are, how much effort is being put in, how much people are using the blockchain, how much people are actually caring. And after I thought about that some more, I realized that's because this individual wasn't actually comparing apples to apples. They were looking at other testnets and saying, we're not like them. And now it kind of clicks. Like, obviously you would think that Voy is the worst testnet you've ever been. And if you people used to actually doing testnets are going out using testnets, because we don't have a faucet where you can have unlimited tokens. The tokens matter. They're actually part of a point system by design. Our testnet is much shorter than what many testnets are, because we believe that the underlying technology, that what most testnets are testing, has been we, like the Joka says, we've been running a testnet for over 5 years now, and it's been going amazing. Thank you, Algren. But what we really are testing is not really the tech. We're testing if people actually give a damn, if people actually care, if people truly care about our mission. And when you care about those things, and we're doing things differently. We are not a central organization that has a $100 million and multiple teams behind us doing this, because we believe that is wrong, and it's harder to do. Like, I will be the first one to tell you, it would be so much easier if we had a team of DevRel, if we had a team of marketers, if we had a team of whatever. But I feel that wouldn't push us directly in the path of why we against the path of where we're trying to get, or why we did in this first place. So, like, I appreciate this criticism. I love all criticism. Now, this is why I talk to community members, because because I actually care. And what this feedback really did is it really galvanized my beliefs. And I want to tell you the story of this, so it galvanized your beliefs as well. Is that we are the worst test net on the planet, and you should be happy about that, because we are not doing it the way that they are. We are doing it the way we are because we believe it needs to be different. And so that's like one of those things where we took the critical feedback and realize it's what actually makes us special. So I would say that not only are we actually not the worst test net, I think that we're the best test net that's actually ever existed, because of you, because of the people watching this, the governance member. Like, how many test nets have a governance committee that comes here every single week that actually cares? Sure, maybe we don't have the mercenaries airdrop farming our Twitter campaigns, but do we want that? Is that success? I believe, and I think you do as well, what actually matters is sustainability, is decentralization, is a platform that people can believe in, that is owned and operated by people putting value in. So, congratulations, everybody. We are the worst testnet on the planet. It's pretty special to me. So that's what I want to talk about and really highlight. And I'll pass it back to you, Shanti, or Waller, or whatever. Actually, I've been paying attention to chat. Are you guys like, no tomatoes? Wow, no tomatoes. Thank you. Oh, there we are. There we are.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Chris. So we can move on actually to the due diligence presentations. Is Shelly in the crowd? Yeah, he is. Shelly, do you want to come up?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So today I'm going to be presenting due diligence on a proposal called the ARC 72 Marketplace Watcher. I made a typo in the DD doc I made. It's not water, it's watcher. And this was submitted by Foodie. For requesting 10 million via. And I'll try not to. I'll show, since the document is not available. I'll share my screen, and I'll try not to read it word for word. I'll just go over what I wrote, and let's see, maybe that will be better than just listening to me. Hold on a second.
While you look for that document, just for other people doing due diligence, please include a link to your due diligence at the bottom of proposals, so that it's easy for Scotty to put it in the tracker and for all of us to read along. So going forward, please make sure you do that.
Okay. Yep. Sounds good. I didn't get it all together, but I did give the document to Scotty. He asked for it. Okay, so So just going through the points that Scotty provided. So what problem are we trying to solve? So the problem would be to provide provide a discard bot that is effectively relays the listings from the marketplace. And one of the notes on this was that it wasn't it wouldn't use the indexer, and that's just something that it's not really, it wasn't really intended that way at the beginning, because at the time it was developed there wasn't an indexer, and you could easily set it up with without, well, just maybe you could set it up in proximity to your node, so it could potentially be a lot faster than the indexer, because I know the indexer takes at least, I don't know, it takes about 4 seconds to get the information. So to create a discard bot, and the proposed solution is that instead of querying making requests to the indexer for logs that you would decode, and you would decode and you would convert to a message for the discard bot. You'd get a dump of the application boxes and decode those directly. So from the first time you make when you first start up the bot, you have a complete state of the marketplace. So that the gist of it is that you're using a different method. You're not using the information provided by the logs. You're using the boxes directly, and it's just a coincidence that the log information and the box contents are the same in this case. And so about the proposer, I'm sure everyone in the console knows him, Foodie. Foodie has been here before with another proposal, and maybe that wasn't received as well, but he came back recently, and he was getting his hands dirty with a lot of smart contract work, like related to the ARC-72 NFTs, and he was working on a different thing, but I had requested that he build a discard, a listing bot, because I knew that it'd be something he could, he would become, I think he would be good at working on. And so before we had the first NFTs for sale, I was helping him with his giving him the information that he would need to build a marketplace watcher, a discard bot. And so in the due diligence, so that's just a little blurb about why I think that Foodie is qualified for building a discard bot. So in the due diligence, I did go over the feedback from the first evaluations. in summary, there were there were mixed signals. But it was leaning towards the positive end. It was almost anonymous. A yes for moving to the champion stage. Let's see. So just going over the positive feedback. It's a good. Good. Contribute public good. Open source. Open source bot. I'm sure some other bots could take advantage of just how you might if your bot required more information than just relaying events to a Discord channel. It would serve as a good way to catch up to the marketplace state. So the summary there was there was feedback that the reward is fair for the research, and it's a fair ask, only 10 million via. And on the negative side, there were some feedback that it was too much. So a little mix between the token quantity and concerns regarding the maintainability and how usability of the code, especially since there would be adjustments required for maybe new implementations and marketplaces. But
Shelly, have you looked at the code?
Yeah, I've seen the code.
Is it quality or no?
There could be it is as good as it's gonna get. The Discord part of the code and the processing of the information from the indexer is okay, and so the meat of it is just being able to decode the boxes. That's it. And I think that he could do it in a more.
Why is he using the indexer and not the NFT indexer?
What's that?
Why is he using the indexer and not the NFT indexer? He doesn't need to decode any boxes.
He actually added a option to use the NFT indexer. So they're both there. It's just that he has both options now. So it's you could use the NFT indexer, or you could use the indexer and decode the boxes, and so yeah, it's as good as it's going to get for. Well, with the using the NFT indexer, you actually don't have to do any decoding, and so what the Discord bot would do is it would make it would wake up and it would make requests to the indexer, and then it would just send those to the channel, and I believe he has that working, and you can't really improve on that.
Don't we already have one of these? Was it Easy Tiger that built this already?
Yeah. So we have one of those, and so it's he got it out too late to be the first one. So his so that approach is like an extra. Is like here's how you can use this bot using the NFT indexer, but you could also use your node directly if you wanted to. So that's the
Well, so I don't understand. So as far as the use case goes, I think it's awesome that Foodie started building this, but we already have one that does more than what this does, and it's why would we why would you all vote to actually give Foodie 10 million via for this when everybody else would just use the other one anyway?
I have a third party opinion on this, Chris.
Okay.
I think the real value prop for this is in advancing the ARC-72 token. So less so looking at it as a Discord bot and looking at the tooling that goes into it for decoding the boxes directly, for building out, our direct on-chain ARC-72 functionality that doesn't use the ARC-72 indexer. So I do think there's a real value to that, and the work that's gone into it. I would vote to, approve this just for that.
Okay, I think it makes sense. It's just that the way that this is being angled is as a a Discord bot, and I'm like, we already have there's already that's being one used. Like, what happens if Easy Tiger goes, oh, I have actually a Discord bot that's already done? Do we give him 10 million as well? But if this is more than actually a Discord bot, there's libraries involved and everything. That's sort of like, it's not clear in this proposal. Like, that's what we're getting out of it. So that's why I bring this up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think that the proposal was angled that way, and there's and then there was a mention about, okay, this Discord bot does it without using the indexer. That's not, I guess that was one of the negative, maybe the feedback was that it wasn't relevant, that it was not using, well, if it's using the indexer, if it's not. And I think the important part of the proposal was not so much the Discord bot or not using the indexer, but was finding a way to catch up. Well, providing a solution to an alternative to reading the events, which would be something new, the listing events, which would it would be harder as you get more listings, because you would have to catch up, and yeah, so I do agree on that. It's a tough sell, considering it's being pushed as a Discord bot.
Okay, so the second question is, so if it's not being pushed as a Discord bot, it's actually something else. Would you, or Zarmi, and you can come back up again, or D13 or any developer, would you use this code base for any reason, for anything that you're building with ARC-72?
I could see potential using it to make the indexer itself, the ARC-72 indexer, more robust. For me, I believe this is Python, right? So it's a different direction than I personally go in, but I could see it being useful for that. It could also be useful if you were looking to do something more advanced than what the current indexer allows, and I said I refuse to implement that. So there are reasons. I mean, that's just how I'm kind of thinking about it as I'm listening and watching this. But I could be completely wrong. So take it as at a great salt.
So I would say that's okay. Then the focus of this should be more library creation rather than Discord bot creation. So meaning that sort of like how you done it with Ulu.js. If he's doing like a Python version of Ulu.js, like that has much more value than another Discord bot that already does more than what this will do.
Mm-hmm.
If I could jump in, just for clarification, is the current bot easy to install in Discord and remove on Discord? Is it being hosted by Foodie currently?
He has a VPS that he runs it on, but it's I think if you have the code and you're familiar with installing a Discord bot, it should be okay. But as far as I know, the only person that has run it is him. And we actually have a Discord a server that that um that runs the bot, and so
Yeah, to me, this should be disregarded as a Discord bot at all.
Mhm.
Because nobody's going to use it. Like especially if you have to actually know Discord, how it works to be able to like run it yourself and then install it and everything of that sort. Like nobody's going to do it. This proposal should be 100% more geared towards building, once again, ulu.js, but for Python. So ulu.python or ulu.py is what this should be.
Mhm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You know, I didn't have a lot of time to go through, well, that information wasn't in the feedback, and I didn't have a lot of time to like maybe like steer the proposal towards a different direction. Um, so that sounds good to me. One just to add, one thing that I thought that it would be useful for, especially for building dApps, is when you have maybe when you have a dApp that relies, well, okay, so you have a dApp, and maybe at some point you would need need to know everything. And so you could do this by you constructing what the whole app state is by reading events and then adding them into this big object. But that requires a lot of processing. And so the way he does it would if you did the way he does it, it would allow you to catch up, to just get the information directly, and then afterwards you could switch into you could switch into just reading future events. And it's that's where I thought it was useful. But I spent some time thinking about it. It's like it's not really useful for a Discord bot because you have too much information, and it should be
I think
a
that's
lot.
so. Foodie, I'm sure you're watching this just because you watched the last one. I think that there's still a big use for this, but it should personally be changed into a library, which I think fits with what you want to do here. You have here, this is public good open source. A library would make even more sense in this way than Discord, which people would have to know how to actually. They wouldn't be able to just drop it in their servers and it would just work without running it themselves. But a open source library that's similar to arc72.js or ulu.js, but for Python, I see their value there, and like I could actually get behind that. But yeah, I think my recommendation, which I don't have a vote for, is that I worry that this comes through as a Discord bot because it would be very easy to check the milestones off of it being a Discord bot that really is no value to anybody. But a arc72.py with good documentation could actually be used by many people and be very beneficial for in the long run. And it should probably, like from what Shelly's saying and what Azarmian's saying, like this, it's not a big leap from what you have written with this Discord bot and turning it into a library.
So one thing that I'll note here is that might fall into the library if it ends up being that is this might involve like making an update to the Algo SDK. We found out that the Algo SDK JavaScript and the Algo SDK Python, they're kind of out of sync. You could do more with the JavaScript version, and you can't do what you want to do with the Python version. So that would probably most likely fall into that work. Okay, so I'm just going to. So as a Discord bot, it's working. You know, as you would see. You would expect a Discord bot to work, but maybe as a Discord bot, it's not as powerful as the ones that are already available. And you know, since Discord bots, ARC72 marketplace listing Discord bot is you know, available, we wouldn't. I'll just say that it's complete as a Discord bot, and outcomes. So as an outcome, I had said that. So it's just an alternative approach. So if it was open source, you know, then other developers could maybe take the good pieces and then add it to their bot to do more than just relaying the indexer responses. If let's see, for example, if you had well, how I would use this is I would maybe, if I was building a bot to check if to read new listings coming in and checking if it's something that you want to pick up, like you want to sweep the floor, you would have to know all of the information that is available. And so this the piece that we would want out of this Discord bot, it would get you that information. It would catch you up, and then it would provide that. So that's something I was thinking about in the outcomes. So let's see. So recommendations from me. So I just thought, you know, coming back, that you know, that Foodie, you know, he demonstrated core values, you know, in open source, and most importantly the intentionality, you know, that he was actually focusing on something that was relevant, you know, well, right now and at the time. Before, it was he was building something that he wanted to build, and I didn't think it was you know, something that was going to pick up. So I asked him to do a Discord bot, and let's see. So my endorsement at the time, before the presentation, was I would support him. And I didn't think it was a big ask, mostly because I would like to encourage him to you know, keep contributing and being active in the community. So that's it.
Thank you, Shelley. I think through the discussion we've had, we can make some informed decisions on how to vote for this. I do echo what Chris has said, where this seems like it is not directly appealing to the ARC72 bounty, which I know this was discussed around. And then to give my own comment on the token quantity, when I think of 10 million tokens, I think of what Bo made for Voy nodes dev. Different product, but to speak about usability, hundreds of users. This has effectively no users in its current state. It has been competitive, and I think that, in my opinion, 10 million is on the high side. I saw this more at a 5 million range in its current state. So that's my 2 cents on it. And I would love to see this in a development package like Chris outlined. That would be awesome to see. And I can personally speak to the value of what Shelley's made for Ulu.js, and if that could be done for Python, that's amazing.
Well, thanks. I'm gonna step down. I think that was pretty productive, you know, even though it came up as a Discord, you know, Discord bot, and it was not as direct. I think I would be, you know, I'm not going to be I'm not going to be developing on the Python side, but you know, it would mean a lot for the developer community to have that available. I'm sure there are some Python developers out there, but
Yeah,
that
I think
would,
this is huge. Like Foodie, don't take this as actually discouragement. Just tweak it and run with it. I think that this is a library that could 100% be used, especially when Algorand releases the Python programming language. I think there's a lot of synergy there. So, just tweak it.
I'm stepping down.
I can take over, if that's all right. For the Web3 Voyage educational content, if we have Ost in the crowd, I don't know if we do, but he did say in Discord he'd like to step up to champion that. So thank you, Ost. We're going to assign that due diligence to you. And it's great to see people getting ahead of this and getting into due diligence before the meetings. Makes for a lot more efficient of a council, similar to what Shelley did, where he took this on before it went to a meeting. So the more we see of that, the better, and the faster we'll be able to move. That being said, for first evaluations, we're going to have the DAO bot by Elgo Squirrel and D-Stain, which will be coming for votes. So check your emails for that. It'll be due on the 16th. And for proposals in community review, so ones that were posted this week, we have Voy Socials by Alex Athias, which is working on community management, Reddit, Telegram. I'd encourage you to read it. I personally think there's some value here and someone's willing to take on quite a load for community management, which I see a lot of value in. And Gems Pay, which is one that I'm a little maybe too biased to talk about, but I would like people to read that, provide your comments, what you think about it, what you would like to see in it. And those will be coming for first evaluation on the 20th. Okay, we've got 15 minutes, so I'll try to move through this effectively. To begin with, I want to talk about what Lobo wanted to bring up. Unfortunately, he's not here with us right now. He wrote me a nice message about what he wanted to share and his thoughts. We started a conversation in the NFT Games channel discussing the length of the NFT games. A lot of creators expressed that 9 weeks was a long time for filling and other activities. They were concerned that the activity would die down and that it would translate into a bad look. So I'm gonna quote Lobo. I'm not gonna do the accent, but a shorter time frame means hype focuses on these weeks and allows for efficient marketing. Sorry, to be clarified, he's suggesting 4 to 5 weeks, leaving it 9 weeks for open source tooling. That puts the end of the NFT games between March 29th and April 5th. Established projects can't push their socials for 9 weeks, as it might hurt them in the end. Prices of NFTs have reached amounts where there is effectively no chance to onboard people. It's OGs trading NFTs, and they won't do it forever. Incentives need to get higher and higher to make people sell their NFTs, which means artists will have to dig deep into their own pockets. People want to hold after some time. The current reward structure means we completely rely on projects giving out via to get potential new buyers, in which it is impossible at these prices. Mainnet marketing can't be more important than projects who worked hard on their communities having a fun time, focus on making the games a good time and not focus on it being marketing for the mainnet launch. He believes they'll be dead secondary in 9 weeks and it's going to be a bad look. As far as the actual opinions of the NFT creators in the channel, more or less, 8 of them agreed with the sentiment that Lobo had. I was the sole person who disagreed, so that may be some bias there. And 3 people were indifferent, suggesting that it might be better to revisit this after more time has passed, so we're not making assumptions of what the future will be, and we have actual data to go on. So I'll leave it there, and I encourage people now to step up and share their thoughts about this. If you think we should be personally handling this, or it should be something the NFT champions handle, I think is another discussion. So stand up.
Hey, and y'all can hear me this time, yeah? Okay, super. My real question, and this is more to the team, But when we set forward an initiative that is intended to take 9 weeks and be a larger event, and within the first week, we already are getting lots of feedback that 9 weeks is unrealistic. And by week 2, which we're only in the middle of right now, we're already looking at cutting it in half. What are your thoughts about how we gauged this incorrectly and how we can avoid gauging events like this incorrectly going forward? If in fact it is incorrectly gauged.
I can speak as one of the people who wrote this proposal. I worked on this with Benedict primarily. I had originally had 12 weeks actually, which butt us right up against when I predicted that the transition from testnet to mainnet would happen. My reasoning for a longer amount, over 4 weeks, 9 weeks, which it is right now, is I believe that this provides activity for people and there's something to do on the chain outside of node running. I recognize that there are a lot of people pointing to that activity is going to continually decrease and diminish, but I personally feel what we see in the second week is strong, and I personally think we should stick to our guns and stick with the 9 weeks. I do think that is an appropriate amount of time, but maybe the core team has a different opinion.
Obviously, I have an opinion. I think that the being able to cut it short is an option. Something that we should bounce around and think about and understand what the results are of doing so. I think it's too soon to make this decision. I am in that bucket as well, because I would rather say, what can we tweak about it to make it exciting for this full amount of time, rather than say, what can we do to actually decrease the amount of time? And I'm going to put that all on you all. And the core team, we met earlier today to actually brainstorm. We're going to do a roundtable with NFT creators on how to potentially increase the engagement. To address Super Synapse's issue of like where, how did we gauge this wrong? I would say we fell into the problem of it being overly successful. The amount of the like really the what ended up happening that we were surprised about is the value of the NFTs, or the NFTs are in demand, many of them in the millions, which is way more than what we thought originally. Obviously, when the demand for them is in the millions, there's not enough liquidity for it to keep going. So that's kind of where it's at. But I would say that rather than knee-jerk cut it short, what we should do is use this as an opportunity to force us to be more creative on how to tweak it. We knew when we started this out, this was never been done before, that things will, like, we would learn things. And this is why in the documentation that Wilder, you and Benny did such a great job with, is that it gives us the ability to tweak KPIs and add new ones. Now, I would say we should harness that clause of the proposal to actually keep it exciting.
Yeah, I totally agree. It just it does bother me when we have large differences in what we set out to do. And I mean, if we were in week 7, week 8, and we wanted to cut this short, I would say, oh, that's totally fine. Like, we get it. We've been through this. Like, it makes sense. But to get this feedback in week 1 leading into week 2, I feel that there is definitely a gap between some of the original intentions and the actuality that we're going through right now. And I'd like to see this be something that we don't keep missing by multiple ballparks in a lot of our initiatives going forward. But I do agree. I do think that we have a lot more to make of the Void games. Personally, I would like to see it continue to the 9-week point. And I have some great ideas about that we can discuss later. But otherwise, I'll step down.
Hi, Ariel.
Hi, I just wanted to share my quick thoughts, although I did put some of them in the chat, and then I thought I would just be human and say hello as well. But I think the concept of the games is that there's some stamina involved, right? And I feel like there was quite a bit of due diligence done before it was voted as is. So I am of the camp that I would need to see significant and new information and evidence to warrant any kind of change to that effect. I think it, we'll see prices come down if that's the problem, and the market will correct. I'm like really into NFT, so I don't know how much of the feedback is coming from collectors. I am in the unique position where I am just a collector. I am not also a creator.
Hey, Roof.
Hi, I was going to talk from the mic, but I figured I would come up too. So my recommendation is maybe we could explore maintaining the 9 weeks as we planned, but just kind of change up kind of the execution of it. I really think that there's an opportunity to continue to outreach to other NFT communities and bring them in, and then find some way to provide liquidity into the competition. But I think that the main objective maybe should be to onboard additional NFT creators with their own communities, so they can just come and use the tech, even if it's not like wildly successful as far as like number of NFTs swapped here and there and all that kind of stuff. We should be like maybe rating the overall competition based on how well we onboard. And everything else is kind of like a secondary effect of all that. So, like I keep thinking about other communities that I've been a part of. You guys all know that I like Genuine Undead and things like that. I think that if I had more ramp up to this contest, reaching out to artists in those communities and just asking them to create a small collection and bring it on over would be any kind of exposure, even if they didn't end up kind of sticking around. And with 9 weeks left, we have time to still bring on new creators. They might not be a part of the initial launch of the NFT games, but they could play a role in it by launching a collection, by bringing in new people. We would have to change some of the KPIs for like what it means to launch as a part of the games. But the existing projects, I don't think should be scared of having new people come in and join. It may not be the way that you intended it from the get-go, but kind of creating a cap on the number of projects based on if they launched on time is, I think, what's fucking all this. because it doesn't allow us to bring in new communities aside from what's already here. So that's my piece.
I think I'm gonna. I don't know if I agree with everything that you said there, but what I do 1000% agree with is the way that you're thinking about this. I think that you are thinking about this as Voy and not as the creator of Chubs, which I can't say how proud I am of you for that. And because at the end of the day, we are all successful when Voy overall is successful. And thinking about it as an overall, like the whole point of the Voy games is to increase the size of the community. And if we can tweak things to make that better, that's really what we need to do. So I would say, I'm push back on what Super Synapse said. It's less about overly planning to get everything right, and more about being flexible when new information comes, because it's impossible to plan for every potential thing. Of course, we can get better, and with experience, doing things, we can get better with it. But at the end of the day, what's more important is being flexible and adjusting to new things coming in.
Lots of great discussion here. So I'm sorry, you go.
No, I was just gonna say, Wilder, maybe it'd be nice, like, if especially since you had like a large portion of like the creation of the structure for all this. Maybe it would be nice if we just would like get some people together and talk about what it would be like if we were able to open this up to new collections. What it would what the weeks going forward would look like for, you know, rewards and stuff like that. I can tell you from my perspective, you know, we're going to continue to try for things like impressions on Twitter. We're definitely not going to flip NFTs as effectively as Synapse is doing. And you know, there's some other kind of KPIs in this contest that I don't think you have to go after every single one of them if you're a creator. But you know, at the end of the day, if 5 weeks from now, you know, with only like a month left of the contest, we were able to bring in, you know, 6 new communities from various blockchains or whatever, and had people who were actually excited about using the tech and have an NFT, you know, on the collection, even if it's kind of short lived or whatever. I think that would be like way more impactful for the chain than just kind of staying the course. So that's my 2 cents, and I will step on down.
I love it. Thank you. And I think we'll kick this off with that Twitter roundtable, and then from there we can go into Discord calls, stuff that everyone can participate in, and really shape this with the creators to make sure this is a success. But there's a clause in there that we can pivot, we can make changes. So I think that is the best way forward, and that will align ourselves best with the creator community as well. And I see what everyone's saying here in the chat. I appreciate it, but just for sake of time, I'd like to get through 2 things that address what we were going to handle in the director's meeting. The first, or actually before I do this, I need judges. I need 3 judges for open source tooling. I'm going to keep asking every week until we have them step up. Right now, I can't be one, or I would be one. You just, as long as you don't have a collection, so off, you could do it with HighForge, or Kelly could be a judge if you'd like to. As long as you're not the name on that creation list, you can be participating in this judging. So we need 3. Please send a message in Governor's channel, step up. It should be a fun time. And if it's anything like the other hackathons, the core team steps up to make sure everyone enjoys the time they spend. But that's my feeling on it. Just to speak on what we did in the directors meeting, we are going to outline, we had a great discussion, thank you, Chris. We're going to outline the specifics around a severe emergency. In retrospect, and based on the feedback we received from Elgrand, the decision last week to make node running lose rewards for not updating, it was a serious issue, it was severe, it was critical, and we do need to have a plan when this happens. So not going to go down the list to high and medium. We're going to leave it just that as what we do when there's a critical issue, but it's going to all happen within 48 hours. There'll be 24 hours for the council to vote. I hope it's going to be shorter when we reach that 50% number, but like we did last time. Everyone stepped up. That was great to see. And from that, we will then dial back the incentives. I don't know if it's going to be a shut off for everybody or a shut off specifically for the people who don't cooperate and move it forward, but so everyone's aware, it took 8 days from when that announcement was made to hit 80% stake having upgraded. So I consider that a moderate success, but in reality, it was a miss. And I think it's better to have this structured and in place so that if we do encounter this again, people know to act quickly, and it's not going to be as maybe off the cuff as it was before. And this could be a protocol that we can initiate and act quickly on to make sure that we prevent future vulnerabilities for Void. So that's one thing. The other thing is we discussed the extended and enhanced council incentives. We recognize the bias. We will not be doing second evaluations on this. We're not even going to assign due diligence for this right now. And the leading idea, which is my idea on this, is having node runners do a 0 void vote directly from their node, just signing a 0 void transaction to one of 2 addresses saying yes or no to it. And the alternative is, if we can't get that to happen, we can enact an extension where the reward structure doesn't change and we move it forward after April. So that's not finalized. I just wanted to keep everyone in the loop, and I will come next meeting with these written out so that we can all look at them, and then afterwards the directors can pass them. Okay, that is everything. What we didn't talk about this meeting with delegated voting, we will talk about in the next meeting. Due diligence did go a little long. Thank you, Shelley, for your presentation. I know there was a lot of discussion there, but for other people doing due diligence, the ways that you can make it happen quicker, maybe get your ideas off it in a more condensed form, is greatly appreciated because we only have an hour and we really want to make the most of it. And I would love to have more time in meetings for open discussion. So thank you, Shelley. And in the future, for other people doing due diligence, please try to maybe expedite the pace a little bit so we can cover more topics and get to the feedback quicker. But thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. I'll see you all on the flip side.
Cheers. Bye bye.